Over the past couple days, people have been reaching out to me, asking, and some claiming, that Luke's X-Wing is in the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer. Let's take a look and see if in fact Luke's X-Wing is in the trailer. First, let's establish what Luke's X-Wing looks like. His X-Wing has very distinguishing markings. First, we have 5 red stripes for Red 5. R2-D2. There are stripes which I will refer to as candy cane. Top left S-foil, bottom right S-foil. The paint strip is broken. As you can see, red, broken with white, and continues red. It is important to note that the X-Wing he uses in A New Hope to blow up the Death Star is later changed from Empire Strikes Back forward. It is very similar in Empire Strikes Back, but the key difference is, as you can see here, the yellow markings across the nose. So this image in reality is from the Empire moving forward. His X-Wing is almost identical, but it is a bit different. Key point, these yellow markings across the nose. So remember, you have the red markings on both wings, candy cane, and the other candy cane. The rest of the cannon is blank. As you can see, there's little smudges, but nothing very noticeable. The broken paint, R2, and then from Empire on, the yellow stripe. Here's the first image of the X-Wings in the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer, and the first reason why people have been saying this is Luke's X-Wing, because of the candy cane. As you can see, the candy cane has a yellow band in front of it. This S-foil also has a yellow band. There is no yellow stripe, and also this red paint is solid all the way through. Same thing with the other X-Wing. Yellow bands on all 4 S-foils, solid red paint. There's an R2. Up close, this is the next scene where the S-foils open. As you can see, yellow bands on all 4 S-foils. And R2, solid red paint. Know that there are thousands, if not millions, of these R2 units throughout the galaxy. There is only one R2-D2, but there are several R2 units throughout the galaxy, just as there are 3POs. They are manufactured like battle droids by the hundreds, thousands, and sometimes millions. So the two things that people have been bringing up is they see R2 here and the candy cane. As you can see, this X-Wing does not have candy canes on any of the S-foils. So those two X-Wings are not Luke's. Let's dig in deeper. This shot is when the Rebellion is first approaching the Death Star in A New Hope, the Battle of Yavin. Now let's look at these X-Wings. This has almost like a camo pattern, no candy cane. As you can see, more smudges, and then it does have a candy cane down here. Full red paint, another R2. This X-Wing does have the broken red stripe and yet another R2. It has the camo pattern, some smudges, a candy cane bottom left, and some smudges. You then have this X-Wing that has a candy cane on the top right. Remember that Luke's X-Wing is bottom right, top left S-foil have the candy canes from his view, from pilot view. Bottom right, top left. None of these X-Wings are Luke. Here's another one that has smudges, a smudge, some more smudges. It does have the broken paint, and yes, another R2. This shot is right after Porkins gets killed. Luke does a strafing run on the Death Star and shoots the surface. He gets in very close and flies through the explosion. Biggs then says, "Are you okay?" And Luke says, "I got a little cooked, but I'm okay." This is Luke. However, know that when A New Hope was filmed, it had several X-Wing shots. Later in editing, the final battle was edited heavily, so some of the X-Wings do not align with the action that is happening in the film because of heavy editing. Had it been thought out a little bit more ahead of time, all the X-Wings would be exactly accurate, but they are not. Most people never notice this, but if you watch the film very closely, you're going to see that the X-Wings do not always line up. This is in fact Luke after he shot the surface of the Death Star. But if you look, there's a yellow band and no candy cane. Here there's a smudge, solid red paint, there's a band there, and it appears there's a band here. No stripe, no stripe, and yet another R2. But this is Luke. This is a mistake in editing. In other words, Luke was the one that flew down, shot the Death Star, and flew off, through the explosion, but in editing they picked a different X-Wing that was flying out of the explosion. This is an accident in editing, but as far as context of the movie, this is Luke. Here we see an X-Wing coming into the screen. It is barrel rolling counterclockwise. If you look here, solid red paint. Another R2. It does have some markings, although they're hard to see. It would appear as it's red 2. There's a band here on the S-foil, top left. Bottom left has a candy cane. This is not Luke's X-Wing. This is the same X-Wing coming out of that barrel roll and leveling out. As you can see, there's a yellow band. No candy cane where it should be. Hello, R2. Solid red paint. There's a candy cane here on the bottom left. As you can see, red 2. There's the 2 stripes there. This scene is flying past the guns on the surface. This indeed is Luke Skywalker. You can't see the S-foil here as it's covered up, but you can see the top left candy cane. There's no band in front of it. Broken red paint. If you watch this scene, this is in fact Luke, and this is his X-Wing. Here's a shot over the surface. Broken red paint. Broken red paint. R2. R2. The markings are different, and if you look, bottom left candy cane, it's supposed to be top left. Bottom left candy cane, supposed to be top left. There's a band here. This has smudges. This has smudges. Neither one of these is Luke Skywalker. Although, if you don't pay attention closely, you can very easily get confused. They look very much alike. But keep in mind, the candy canes are in the wrong place. And you can see 2 X-Wings side by side have candy canes. Several of these X-Wings, not all of them, have candy canes. That is not distinguishing for Luke because several of them have it. There are 3 trench runs on Death Star. The first run is Y-Wings. They get shot down very quickly by Darth Vader and never get to the porthole. Originally, Luke makes 2 runs down the trench. That was later edited down for time and continuity. This is the second run down the trench. Here you can see solid red paint, markings, no candy canes, and a red R2 unit. You can see his dome is red. This X-Wing, bottom right candy cane, top left candy cane. There is an R2, broken paint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly more hidden stripes. You would think that this is Luke Skywalker. It is not. Now perhaps in editing this was originally Luke's X-Wing, but it is not because this is the second trench run led by Garvin Drace with 2 wingmen. Garvin Drace is red leader. His wingmen get shot down. He makes it all the way down the trench, shoots the torpedoes, and they hit the surface, and he flies off. Shortly after, he gets shot down. You see him get shot by Darth Vader, and he flies into the surface of the Death Star. At the same moment that this is happening, Luke with Wedge and Biggs are flying here above the surface of the Death Star. So that obviously cannot be Luke because he can't be in the trench and above the trench at the same time. Here, broken paint. Broken paint. This one is solid, so we know that's not Luke. There's no candy cane. This is definitely not Luke. Broken paint. Candy cane top left, candy cane bottom right. This could be Luke. Broken paint. Candy cane top left, candy cane bottom right. This could be Luke. So either one of these could be Luke. The point is that there are multiple X-Wings that look alike and that have those candy canes. It's not just Luke's that has this. And this was the argument, the candy canes. This is the final run on the Death Star trench. This is indeed Luke, the leader. Biggs and Wedge are his wingmen behind him. As you can see, broken paint. R2 is there. Top left candy cane, bottom right candy cane. This is indeed Luke in the front, heading towards the exhaust port. Here's another shot further down the trench. You can see the 5 stripes. You can see the candy cane. R2, broken paint. This is indeed Luke, and this is indeed his X-Wing. This is the same scene towards the end as he's flying to the left, it zooms in. Top left candy cane, the bottom is hidden. 5 stripes, R2. This is Luke Skywalker. This is his X-Wing. Here's another shot further down the trench. Top left candy cane, bottom right candy cane, broken paint, R2. This is Luke Skywalker. Here's another shot further down the trench. Broken paint, R2, candy cane bottom right, candy cane top left. This is in fact Luke, and his X-Wing. This shot is the very last shot we see of Luke's X-Wing close up and in the trench. After this, we just see it flying off back to Yavin 4. We don't see any detail. This is the very last shot we see of Luke's original X-Wing, Red 5 in A New Hope. Broken paint, top left candy cane, bottom right candy cane. This is in fact Luke and his X-Wing just seconds before he drops his torpedoes. They blow up the Death Star, land back on Yavin 4. As you can see, this is a production mistake. Luke has just landed, the cockpit opens, and he's climbing out. Full red stripe. This is a mistake. This is most likely because they had stationary models in the hangar, and they just had Mark Hamill jump in an X-Wing to climb out as if he had landed. This is actually a production mistake because, as I showed you, his X-Wing has the broken paint here. This is a generic X-Wing on the set. Now in Empire, this is right after Luke crash lands into the swamp of Dagobah. He then jumps off, wades through the swamp, and he comes to the edge and looks back at his ship. You can see the Red 5 markings. Here you cannot see the candy canes, it's too foggy, that's in the water. But as you can see here, the yellow striping. This is the main difference in his X-Wing, is the yellow stripes along the nose. Here is when Yoda had lifted the X-Wing out of the swamp, floated it over, and it lands in front of Luke. And Luke says, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." As you can see, broken red paint. Here is when Luke is about to leave for Cloud City to help his friends. Yoda and Obi-Wan are encouraging him to stay and finish his training. He is inspecting his X-Wing, getting ready to take off. As you can see, broken red paint on the nose. Luke's X-Wing has the markings, bottom right candy cane, top left candy cane. The front of the cannons are blank, except for maybe a little smudge. Yellow paint across the nose, and R2. This is the most current version of Luke's X-Wing outside of the Disney trilogy. In the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer, the far X-Wing, solid red stripe. It does appear to have some markings on the nose, although it's unclear. No candy canes. And look, an R2. The one closest that people were claiming is Luke's because of the candy cane. You can see there are yellow bands. There are no yellow markings across the nose, and it's solid red paint. This is not Luke Skywalker and his X-Wing. And then the final shot of the X-Wings that we get to see up close is the X-Wing on his left that opens up the S-foils. Yellow bands on all four cannons. No candy canes. Solid red paint. A generic R2. Neither of those are Luke Skywalker. So that settles that. No, we do not see Luke or Luke's X-Wing in the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer. Could Luke appear in the Mandalorian Season 2? Well, anything's possible. And if Disney, Dave Filoni, and the Mandalorian are doing proper Star Wars, then there would have to be Luke Skywalker because he is the only Jedi that is alive. That is Star Wars movie canon. So the Mandalorian would have to seek out the only Jedi, and that is Luke Skywalker. Now granted, this is 5 years after the Return of the Jedi. You could argue that Luke might have some students at this point after 5 years, although unlikely as it's not much time, and if he did, they would be very young and or very inexperienced. Luke is the only true Jedi floating around the galaxy. The Sith and the Jedi are all dead. If we go by Filoni's fan fiction, then Ahsoka and other Jedi are floating around. Ahsoka was supposed to die at Order 66, but as he kept her alive, and she's probably going to be in the Mandalorian Season 2, well then there's a good chance Mandalorian is going to come across Ahsoka Tano. But that is not correct Star Wars lore nor canon. The only Jedi is Luke. So if this was done correctly, he would have to run into Luke to pass Baby Yoda to him. As we know that Tony Filoni likes to make up his own Star Wars, most likely we'll be seeing Ahsoka Tano, and that's who the Mandalorian is going to give the baby to, or team up with to try to find his home. So there you go. Beyond any shadow of a doubt, neither one of these X-Wings is Luke Skywalker or his X-Wing. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. May the Force be with you.